Welcome to Read Poetry and Eventually Die, Episode 7 podcast. And I'm Steve Rogenbuck. Who is your host? Who's your host? It's me. I'm your host. And today I'm talking about John Mortara's poetry. And, I read John Mortara's brand new book called Some Planet. And it's out 2015. It's out on Yes Books. And John has been touring it up, and I've been excited to see that. I love when the poets do the touring. It's exciting. It doesn't always happen with poetry. I remember in high school, I was in death metal bands, and I was like, I was touring around with my band, even though my band wasn't that good. Because that's just the standard in bands. You tour around, even if you're not that good. And I think, when I switched over to poetry, I was like, all right, let's see what the scene's like. And a lot of the contemporary poets I found and liked, even I liked their work, but I would look at their book tours and it would be like 3 stops over the course of a month. And I'm like, that's not really a tour. So I'm excited to see the poets who tour it up. And John's got a lot of dates planned over the next few months. So if you're in the United States especially, and if you're interested by John's work and what you hear on today's podcast, I'd say check it out. See if there's any dates near you. But yeah, this book, I read it. I'm going to talk about it. John Mortara is a name that has been floating around the sort of internet lit scene, I feel, for several years, but I have not really dug deep in John Mortara's work until just recently. John runs voicemailpoems.org. If y'all haven't heard of that, you should possibly check it out. Voicemail poems, I think to submit, you call and leave a voicemail of a poem. It's audio poems. Which is a great form for poems. So, let's just dive in. I'm getting rowdy and rambunctious. I'm getting ready to just dive right in. Can we dive into John Mortara's true effing poetry book, Some Planet? Can I dive in? You can have permission. Thanks. And I'm going to read a poem first. It's called Just for Today, You Are Awesome. And this morning you wear your hands like sparkly gloves. You check them in the mirror. You slip into your feet like silver slippers. Today you are awesome, and as you walk down the hallway you declare, today the walls will be yellow. And by saying it, you make it so. Today you are awesome, and the universe bows to your every whim. The doors in the house swing open in celebration of your being, and the old floors say, we are sorry, we are wooden. Today we can be tile. You are pleased with this. The couch and the television and the coffee table? Red, red, red. Red to the dead grass in the yard. Red to the cracked sidewalk, and red to the snooty neighbors. I don't care, you exclaim. Today I am awesome. And you think of all these delightfully witty quips for conversations you've already had. You time travel back to those moments when you had been certifiably not awesome, and you make everyone convulse with laughter. They look like they are having seizures foaming at the mouth, and this makes you very happy. Today you are awesome, and when you sit in your now magenta automobile, all the red, green, yellow of the traffic lights combine into a single shade of brown. In the subsequent confusion, you slip through the urban center unnoticed and unbothered. You see your partner, and they say, today I am not very awesome. And you say, it's okay, I am awesome. Let's go on an adventure. The two of you hit the parkway heading south and trade off choosing random exits with silly names like Metachen. You do this all day until your car runs out of gasoline and you wind up stranded on the side of the road. You say to your partner, it's okay, we are on an adventure. I am awesome and you are awesome by association, and I am only awesome for today, so we better make use of it. Your partner agrees and asks if you might manifest some gasoline. Why would I want to do that, you say. At that very instant, a glimmer forms in your left eye brighter than 1,000 supernovas. You gesture your now glowing skull towards the endlessly dismal pine barrens bordering the highway. Let's make use of it. Hell yeah, love that poem. I love awesomeness. Now this book has a lot of fun poetry forms in it, and effed up forms. You want to see some creative forms? Are you looking to get your little noggin stimulated? from some wacky poetry forms, you better check this book out because it's got some. And let me tell you all about it. It's got some poetry forms wherein it's a chart or graph on the page. It has some poetry forms where it is directions of an experiment or game to perform. Huh? Yes. And it has one that is fill in the blank, where you're supposed to look up words from the Gideon's Bible and then place them in the page to figure out the poem. Can you do it? Can you obtain it? You might be able to. Some of you won't. And you'll cry. But that's okay. There's one poem in here that you are supposed to cut out and fold up and use as one of those fortune-telling things where you put your hand into it and you fold it and then you find out your fortune. That's a poem in here. Now, who's done that as a poem? Another thing about the book that you ought to know, it's got outer space themes. And that's true. There are outer space themes in this book. I mean, the title is Some Planet, so you better expect it. And you heard the last poem included a reference to supernovas. Supernovas. That's right. You know, some of my favorite nebulae are supernova remnants. So you know that I like supernova references in a poem. Let's dig deep. There's also some references to Carl Sagan in this book. There's references to the moon. There's a reference to Jupiter at least once. There's other outer space references, you know, and it is here to stay. The outer space references in John Mortara's poetry could kill somebody, and probably has already. And that's okay. That's fine. There's some stars in the book designed onto the pages in the light gray printing on the corners of the pages. It's there. You could show your family this book and they would be like, that's a poetry book. Nice. We're here for a reason. We're here to get down with the sickness. So I'm going to read this poem called Beach Party Castle Bravo. Now, this is a fun poem because the sound of this poem, it's very fun to read out loud. So some of you who are listening might hear me read this and you'll be like, God dang, I wish I was the one reading that instead of Steve. I wish I was the one. Let's listen in. Beach Party Castle Bravo. Sally wears nuclear bikini, cries in the bathtub, wilts brown like a palm tree. Like Sam motorboats the Muscle Beach, all cruiser military missile. Sally wears hate on her patellas. This is no place to grow petunias. See Sally wears Sam like King Mike. Like a suit is a party. Is Operation Crossroads Operation Ivy. Like Sam is bad vibration standoff station wagon. Is Big Kahuna Ripper flip-flop tanning. Is paranoid megaton sailing. Is you, and if not you, then what is you? All sad like atoll love triangle lingo. Buttered backwash, lotion-nosed western like a King Mike PR campaign wears jingo. Sally all open wound proving ground Pacific is split fission coin-operated personality. Like Sam is people's twisted history. Is they all worn like a strap-on country. Yeah! Who's ready to actually literally fight someone currently? I'd like to de-escalate your feelings a little bit. Calm your ass down a little. John identifies as a queer witch, also, I believe. Can we get confirmation on this? Yes, hold on. Let me pull up John Mortara's Twitter, and let me confirm.
Does John Mortara identify as a queer witch?
And I looked it up, and John Mortara identifies as a witchy queer. So I don't know. Is John Mortara a witch? That's the question that we all want to know the answer to. And we can't all know it. I see one bird on the power line. The book is called Some Planet by John Mortara on Yes Yes Books. It's about 70 pages. And you should check out John Mortara's stuff online, too. Lots of stuff online. Lots of stuff in different literary magazines and so forth. So you can get a true good taste of John Mortara. You can follow up, friend up John Mortara. And, get in there. Get in there. Oh, get in there. We can do this. We can do this. Okay. Today's my motherfucking best day of my life. And I like it that way. Sometimes it's really nice to practice patience consciously. Like, you're like, I really don't have the patience for this. And then you're like, maybe I do, though, if I try. And that is really nice to try to do. I don't draw pictures of aliens often, but if I did, it would have nothing to do with this podcast anyway. See you around next week. See you next week for episode 8.